You notice it the moment the engine falls silent. The cabin stops trembling, the air settles, and the car feels as if it is holding its breath. Some owners describe this moment as strange, others call it unsettling, but very few understand what is actually happening inside their Lamborghini when everything goes quiet. Because there is a feature hidden beneath the drama, buried under the sound and fury that almost no owner has ever understood. And once you see what it really does, you will realize that Lamborghini engineered something far more intelligent than most people expect from a machine known for its theatrical personality. Picture the cockpit after a long drive. The leather is warm. The metal surfaces are still radiating heat. There is a faint scent of fuel and road dust in the air. You reach for the ignition and the symphony ends instantly. But the car is not finished with you. Not yet. Deep inside the vents, something begins to move. A system comes alive without a single light, without a single sound that you consciously notice. Every Lamborghini from the modern era performs this ritual, yet almost no one talks about it. Most owners assume the car is simply cooling down or shutting itself off. But what you are watching is a psychological illusion disguised as a mechanical process. This is Lamborghini's hidden post-drive thermal equalization system, a quiet guardian that protects the engine, the electronics, and the cabin long after the roar has faded. The idea sounds simple at first, but the behavior is deceptively intelligent. The car begins regulating airflow through the engine bay, redistributing residual heat so that metals, hoses, and delicate electrical components do not suffer sudden temperature shock. The system prevents hotspots that could reduce the life of everything from carbon fiber housings to tiny silicon chips buried in the control modules. It ensures that the cockpit does not trap heat against the leather or the stitching. It even monitors how fast the cabin is cooling compared to the engine behind it. You almost never hear it. You rarely feel it, but it is happening every single time. To understand how it works, imagine a small orchestra of sensors that continue reading temperatures after the car shuts down. If the control unit detects that the bay is still dangerously hot, it redirects small pulses of air using residual pathways that were originally created for high-speed aerodynamics. Heat is carried out through vents you have never consciously noticed. The car cools itself in layers, not in a rush. This prevents warping, micro-cracking, and long-term stress that would eventually damage a supercar that is often driven hard and stopped abruptly. And while the system feels invisible, the craftsmanship behind it is anything but simple. Engineers spent years shaping airflow maps specifically for each Lamborghini model. The Huracan N behaves differently from the Aventador. The Revuelto has its own thermal choreography because its hybrid components demand even more delicate treatment. Teams of designers and technicians tested temperatures across hundreds of points within the car, millimeter by millimeter, hour after hour, in chambers hotter than desert asphalt. Each mapping adjustment took days to verify. Every correction required new simulations, new material tests, and new data logs. This invisible behavior shapes the psychological experience of owning a Lamborghini. You step out of the car, adrenaline still rising in your chest, and you believe you have left the machine in a state of rest. But you have not. It is still thinking, still protecting itself, still preserving the moment for the next time you ignite it. There is a quiet intimacy in that idea. A Lamborghini that continues to take care of itself long after you walk away feels like a living creature guarding its own heart. You can almost feel its presence behind you as you close the garage door. Before this system existed, high-performance engines suffered from thermal shock every time they were shut off under heavy load. Owners experienced premature wear, fading performance, and unpredictable electrical failures that seemed mysterious but always had the same cause: uncontrolled cooling. The difference between before and after this engineering breakthrough is dramatic. Where older models aged quickly, modern Lamborghinis retain their sharpness for years. Heat damage drops, component life increases, leather stays healthier, electronics behave more predictably, and the rarity of this feature lies not in the hardware, but in the philosophy. Most manufacturers rely on simple fans or timers. Lamborghini created a system that feels over-engineered for the sake of resilience, not convenience. It is the kind of design decision that costs far more than it saves, but it aligns with a brand that builds cars meant to survive extremes, not merely perform them. This is why modern Lamborghinis feel younger for longer. The system reduces thermal fatigue across the entire vehicle, extending the life of components that most owners never think about. It protects the carbon ceramic brakes after aggressive driving. It preserves the adhesives behind interior panels. It keeps the engine bay from slowly cooking itself. It ensures that the car still feels tight, composed, and confident decades later. And when you understand that, you begin to see the real luxury. It is not only in the leather, or the sound, or the shape of the doors. It is in the invisible engineering that protects the machine when no one is watching. Luxury is the feeling that your car is looking after itself. So the next time you turn off a Lamborghini and step away, pause for a moment. Listen to the silence that is not truly silence. Feel the calm that hides a storm of intelligence beneath it. Something is still awake inside that machine. Something is still working for you. And when you return, when you press the ignition and the engine erupts once more, the car feels ready, prepared, alive, because the hidden feature you never understood has already done its job.